Hey friends, welcome to my channel. My name's Margo. I'm a creative person who at any given time has no real idea where I'm going, but I know that I am going somewhere and I hope that you will come along with me. In today's video, we're going to be working on a DIY project that is waste not, want not, virtually free, and is going to take any of the scrap cardboard that you have lying around and make good use of it for the holiday season. Let's get into it. Okay, so once you have your shapes cut into buildings and or houses, you can take any sort of paint marker. I'm using a Posca pen, but you could use a white Sharpie, you could use puffy paint or even glue to decorate the details of the houses and buildings and make them look like icing on your gingerbread houses. So that's just what I'm doing here throughout the remainder of our video together. If you can believe it, I had never put together my own gingerbread house until I was well into my 20s and my nieces were young and we were doing it together. Growing up, it just was not one of our family traditions. And I don't know if it's just because I did not have the lifelong skill set for building gingerbread houses, but it's actually quite hard. Or at least I find it quite hard. So doing this was really satisfying because I was like, oh my goodness, here I am making beautiful gingerbread houses and not having to hold the walls together for 25 minutes or get icing everywhere or it hardened too fast and all that stuff. But what I did have the lifelong skill set for was hosting and party planning. We, in my entire family, as well as just my immediate family, have hosted a Christmas Eve extravaganza, or rather an open house, all of my life. It's a tradition that existed on both sides of my family. I remember my father's brother hosted Christmas Eve every year and we would go to his house for a while, and then my mom's sister would host Christmas Eve every year and we would go to her house for a while. Until ultimately that tradition was passed down to my mom, and that stayed for the majority of my life. We hosted Christmas Eve and my mother would do it just as my uncle and my aunt would do, which was an open house, which means that you opened up your house to your neighbors, to family, to friends of family. I think my most favorite memory was my mom frequently and religiously got her nails done. And so her nail technician and her entire family came to our open house Christmas Eve one year. And just getting to see everyone for either a short time at the beginning of the evening or a later time at the end of the evening or the whole time, it was just nice to have people pop in, pop out, say their merries, and go on their way. So I think for me, that's why the nostalgia of Christmas is surrounded a lot around food, because of these types of open house parties where there were just hors d'oeuvres floating the entire night long. And some of my most favorite recipes come from that Christmas Eve hors d'oeuvre setup as well. And while I'd like to think that these recipes were family secrets passed down from grandma to grandma, they were truly belonging to Bisquick and Jimmy Dean and Nestle's Toll House. So things like sausage balls and pigs in a blanket and cookie after cookie after cookie was on every table, every tray. The oven was going all night long. Crab cakes and cheese balls and all the things, and people would bring their own appetizers as well, so we got to share in some other family recipes. It was an undertaking and an event of the season, and my mom was the best hostess, and that baton has been passed on to my sister over a few years, and then myself over a few years, and now it is mine once again. And I may not be my mother, but I certainly try. I kind of like this little house right here because it looks a little bit like a barn. And so I'm making it like the little snow is pouring out from the top of the barn. Now in this bit here, I tried to incorporate some fun Empire State Building inspired buildings, some tall city-like buildings, because I feel like a lot of these little Christmas villages, gingerbread houses, are little intimate village town type houses. And I thought, why can't a city have some gingerbread real estate? They by no means turn out perfectly, and I think that that is part of the charm. But as some sort of a perfectionist, which I don't fancy myself, but I think that I am, I got very critical here. I'm like, oh, this doesn't look right. Oh, that's not as, tall, or the windows don't look like windows, or there's not enough gingerbread decoration. And I think it's easy to get critical with ourselves when we are creating art. But this type of project, the beauty in it is the inconsistencies and the imperfections. So just kind of go with the flow if you're creating this on your own, and don't be too harsh on yourself. Literally have fun. And for me, that's what Christmas Eve is all about, is just fun and going with the flow. I think that my mom had it quite down to a science. She never expressed that, but she seemed like she had it all together. And for me, I put a lot of pressure on myself over the years to have it all together in that same way. But it's all about having fun, going with the flow, just like this project. Creating imperfect and inconsistent memories that are still cherishable and lovable just the way that they are, and really slowing down and enjoying the process of them. I had to remind myself that over the years, because when my sister took over the holiday, or my cousins took over the holiday, or my mother no longer could do the holiday because she was too sick and it was me and I wasn't living up to the standard, I had to just surrender to the fact that it wasn't going to be exactly as it should be for whoever decided what that was, whether it was my memory or the expectation. And so nowadays, I've talked a lot on my social media about the expectations and nostalgia of holidays trapping us into this, thing where we just set ourselves up for disappointment, either within ourselves or from our family members and friends. And so what I need to remember for myself, and I'm encouraging you to remember for yourself, is that these types of events, this seasonal type of moment, is what it is, right? We have to hold on to our expectations loosely so that we can enjoy every step of the season. And maybe that is lowering our expectations a little bit to a more flexible expectation. And what I mean by a flexible expectation is it doesn't matter to me anymore who is hosting the Christmas Eve gathering, as long as we are gathering. And it doesn't necessarily matter to me who is present at the Christmas Eve gathering, as long as we are gathering. And I think that's what that open house, open-handed holding of expectations allows us to achieve. And it's going to sound really cheesy, but each type of house that is represented here in this little gingerbread garland that we are making represents the different types of families and different types of traditions that people experience. And maybe at one point in time you lived in a city building and now you live in a little village building, or you lived in a barn your whole life and now you've moved into a home. Things change over the years, expectations change over the years, but we can still hold on to the joy of a holiday season no matter where we are or who we are with. And I know what you're thinking. Wow, Margo, that was very Hallmark of you. I can't believe you're going that deep on a DIY garland of gingerbread houses on cardboard and paint markers. But I know that you feel me, because this is that time of year where we're a little self-reflective. And if you're me, that's all the time of year. But I think we can handle it, can't we? In fact, I know that we can. So we're working on this next one here. I'm trying to decide what sort of shape I want. I'm cutting it very off frame because she's a professional. This is one of the parts where I start to lose inspiration. I have this little house shape cut out and I am doing the roof, and then I get sidetracked and I'm like, what else could I be doing? Because I don't know exactly how I want to decorate this one. And I start trimming the other pieces. But that is because I think I'm doing this project alone, and it's meant to be a family friends gathering type of project, a freebie, if you will. Like I said, it's waste not, want not, and it is absolutely virtually free. You just take your old cardboard and you decorate it in gingerbread fashion. But it's much more fun if you're doing this with kiddos or even elderly family members, or as a girls' night, or even a guys' night, or whatever. I think this would be a great group project. This even could be a really good project to do on Christmas Eve. It's something small and engaging that you could be doing in the passage of time, whether you're listening to Christmas music or watching Christmas movies, having a gathering, or it's just late at night and you're trying to calm your thoughts before the big day. This is something that I think everyone could get into, and it's just so simple. That's actually perfect now that I said it. This is perfect for Christmas Eve, because if you're hosting an open house like I do, you can have every family that comes through your doors create a little garland, and then you can string it the following year or at the end of the night or what have you. And each year you can add on to it, and then you can have these garlands kind of all over, or you can even toss them at the end of the year if that's what your little heart desires, and do it again the following year. Again, this project is silly easy. You could add some depth to these gingerbread houses by using puffy paint or a mixture of glue and I think it's flour. Don't quote me on that. Or you can use hot glue and paint just to give like a more 3D element to these houses, but I'm just doodling away. I love the little brick I did down here. That's kind of cute. Did I do that on another one? Oh, the chimney of the barn. I feel bad for all my Posca pens off to the side that are not getting utilized, but we're going for a very classic gingerbread house feel here. Although, in true My Name's Margo fashion, I did, as soon as I was finished, want to go back in and add some little bits of color here and there so that it could really stand out, and I was going to hang it in my office, but maybe that's a project for another time. I would love to know what some of your Christmas Eve traditions or even your holiday traditions are. So if you want to share that with me in the comments, that would be great. Even some of your holiday recipes that are tried and true. Maybe they belong to you. Maybe they belong to Jimmy Dean. The secret is safe with me. I surely hope that you have enjoyed this video and that you are going to give this DIY a try. And I believe this is our last house here, so I am just going to talk us through here the little decorations. I love these little scalloped edges. To me, that screams gingerbread house. Obviously, aside from the white icing drips that I am not really succeeding at doing, but they're there and they're cute anyway, and the little gumdrop dots, but that's what made me think of the color. I was like, the color should be gumdrops, and that should be really cute, and blah, blah, blah. But I really wanted to stick with this classic gingerbread house, and in order to make it nice and simple for everyone, I feel like a white marker, a white paint pen, white glue is something we all have in our house at one point in time, or just one small craft project to purchase. So that's what we did. I'm adding my little dots here. They're not gumdrops, but they're beautiful. And I'm just sharpening up the drips on the top of the house where the icing would be dripping if it was a true gingerbread house. How cute is that? How cute is that? I'm obsessed. First of all, do you know how many boxes we get around this house? My husband is a techie and I'm a small business owner. We have cardboard after cardboard after cardboard. So why don't you comment me with all of your ideas on what else we could be utilizing that cardboard for in similar ways. If this video is something that you're into, go ahead and give me a subscribe, head on over to my social media and give me a follow, and return back, because next time we might be drawing together or cleaning together or just chit-chatting, but whatever we're gonna be doing, we are going to be doing it together. Friends, I hope you have a happy, safe, and hopeful holiday season and give this DIY a try. I'll catch you next time.